Hi! It is December 26th, 27th, so hope everyone had a great Christmas, and I haven't seen you since like early October. But I did have my baby. She is currently upstairs napping. I just put her down, and so is my toddler is napping, which they overlap for like 20-30 minutes maybe, so someone will be up soon, so that's exciting. So yeah, I had a baby. I planned on doing like a play-by-play of like labor and delivery vlog of like, oh, I'm having some contractions and we're headed to the hospital and oh, they just checked me, and like really have like a good overview of the experience. And that didn't really go as planned because I ended up having a crazy fast labor portion of it. I started having contractions at home, and by the time that I really realized this is the real deal and we were headed to the hospital, I was walking into the hospital very slow because I was hurting, and by the time that I actually got admitted, I was pretty much like screaming for my epidural. It was a fun time, you guys. But I did end up getting the epidural, so there is a very happy ending along with the baby, but the epidural is also up there as well. So yeah, so I got the footage that I got, and it's literally like right before I start pushing, so I have more like postpartum in the hospital footage, but something I'm glad I have to look back on. It has been quite the adjustment going from one child to two, and so I have just been completely soaking that in and adjusting to that. I don't know how else to put it, but I go back to work in a couple weeks. I only work a couple days a week for the most part, so it'll be fine. Hopefully we'll get back into having some sort of regular videos to post, but yeah, a toddler and a newborn is no joke. No joke. So, hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you in my next one.
Rock and roll, players.
It is 12:45 a.m. 10/20/20. I had an appointment today at 2:20 p.m. and she checked me and she said I was a 3.5. And then when I got home, I was just like cramping, but then I started having regular, uncomfortable contractions at like 5, 6, but they were just uncomfortable. And then when we put Naomi down for bed at 7, they started getting more intense, but I could talk through them. And then but they were only 30 seconds long, so they weren't that long. Anyway, I couldn't decide if it was like real or not. I ended up calling my doctor who was on call, and stop.
Looking good.
Yeah, I don't want to be that close. I took a shower and I dried my hair, and I almost curled my hair because I was like, I think this is real and I just want to feel cute if I go into labor. They like sped up really quick and got longer. So then we had Nate's mom. She came over pretty quickly and is staying at our house because Naomi is obviously there. And then we drove here. We walked in the hospital at 10:30 p.m. They checked me, and I was a good 4, she said. Then they admitted me to labor and delivery, and then I don't even know the next time they checked me, not even like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and I was a 7, and I was losing my shit. I was hurting so bad, and I said, am I going to be able to get the epidural? And she was like, do you want the honest answer? And then I just like lost it. Anyway, all is well.
No tears.
I just got my epidural. Yeah, I didn't cry.
Tough ass broad right here.
Oh my god, like I still am like, ugh. It was bad. Those contractions were bad, and kudos, I don't know why, but kudos to anyone who wants to go without the epidural, because this is the best thing I've ever had in my life. I'm probably going to be pushing here soon. Like literally been here a little over 2 hours, and I'm about to start pushing.
Dad update. I just had a granola bar. I'm feeling good. Let's do this.
Miss Marlo Jean was born 10/20/20 at 2:44 a.m. 7 pounds 2 ounces, 18 3/4 inches, and it was an extremely different labor and delivery than with my first daughter. My face is like puffy, but with my first daughter, I had an induction. I came in, I had false lashes on. I looked perfect. There was time to do everything perfect. And I labored overnight then as well. That might be the only thing in common, but everything just, it wasn't too long of labor, but it wasn't really fast. Everything just kind of progressed at a steady rate. And I never, honestly, honest to God, I never had insanely painful contractions. And I just don't get it, because with my first daughter, I got an epidural and I was probably around like a 5 or a 6. So I wanted to go into labor naturally this time, if I've said that before in other videos. Things happened so quickly, I can't even tell you. At 10:30 I was a 4, 11:30 I was a 7, verging on an 8, and wondering if I would even get my epidural. And I was just miserable. I was making noise, I was cussing, I was terrified. Terrified that I was not going to be able to get my epidural. Thank God to my labor and delivery nurse. I feel like she was on top of it and really got me that epidural in the last few minutes that I probably could have even gotten it. But once I did get it, then it slowed it down. So I got my epidural, I can't remember, I told you it was like 12:30 something, and then she didn't end up being born until 2:40. So it did slow it down a lot. She was always right there. Every time they checked me, they were like, she's right there. But for some reason, I think there was just like still a part of my cervix that, like they said, still wasn't all the way thin as the other. I don't know. It is the 21st. Yeah, at 11:30 a.m. We are hopefully getting out of here today, but Marlo's bilirubin is a little bit elevated, not too bad, but they want to draw it again for a second time at when she's about 36 hours old, which will be around like 3 p.m. So we will be here till later afternoon if we are going home, and I'm really crossing my fingers that we get to go. Because of the time that I have had her at like 2 a.m., I feel like we have had a good amount of time here. Yeah. How's Dad doing? Do you have anything you want to say?
Killing it.
She's been really good. The first full night last night was a little rough, but I feel like was my experience with Naomi too. They just don't like these bassinets. They just don't like those, and she's been kind of like gagging and spitting up a little bit of like amniotic fluid, I guess. So that's really fun. I have to constantly make sure she's not gonna choke. And she passed her hearing test and all that good stuff. After ease
is supposed to calm the afterbirth pains, which are stronger with each child that you have. And I've pretty much stayed on top of it from the second that I gave birth, so I can't say that I like was really hurting and then did this and then it like stopped it, but because I've been constantly just mixing it with water, it's like a dropper. But I would say that they've been fairly mild. They've been kind of constant, but everyone that I've talked to said that their afterbirth pains with like number 2 and number 3 were like pretty terrible, and I haven't really had that experience, knock on wood. So I am, you know, gonna give that product the benefit of the doubt and think that it's probably that. So we're currently waiting. I'm waiting on lunch. Nate is napping. I just finished feeding Marlo and she's just kind of resting, which I should be too, but it's just like one of those things. As far as like talking about recovery wise, we are about a little over a day from delivery, a day out from when I delivered. The like high dose ibuprofen is really all that I've been taking. I haven't had to have any like Percocet or anything, so I'm happy with that. It's been weird not having visitors. There's like good and bad. It's been much more peaceful and easygoing than last time, but it also feels like we're like living in a different state or something and we can't see, and that's the reason there's no family or friends here. But we've been FaceTiming a lot, so we'll see. I'm sure everyone will be over at our house within the next day or so. I just still can't really believe how this all happened. I really wanted to go into labor naturally, but I was 100% not convinced it was going to happen. When I had my check on Monday and she told me I was like a 3.5, she actually said that she could have probably given me a 4, but to be on the modest side, she was going to say that I was dilated 3.5. That was the first time that I kind of thought, okay, well maybe I will go into labor naturally. So I went home. I immediately started like bouncing on the exercise ball. I was like doing squats. I, went up the stairs an extra few times, and I had cramping from when she checked me, which was like pretty much normal, but I'd say they kind of got more like patterned and regular around like 5 or 6, and then 8 or 9 p.m. they got more of, that's really uncomfortable. Not yet painful, but that's really uncomfortable. And by the time we left our house at 10 p.m. ish, 10:30, pain. She was ready to be here. Were you ready to get here, Marlo? I'm gonna rest until lunch gets here. Okay, so not exciting news. Marlo's bilirubin levels went up just a little bit. They were at 9. Which I have one of my best friends was a pediatric nurse for a long time. I work in cardiology and don't know anything about jaundice in newborns. Anyway, but she was like, that's really not even that high, but I guess the fact that it was like trending upwards is why they kind of want to nip it in the butt and keep us one more night and do this fun light therapy on her that she pretty much stays in anytime we're not feeding her, changing her, or anything like that. I thought it was like a session for like 30 minutes. I don't know where I made that up in my mind, but so we have to be here a little longer. Ow. I was really wanting to go home. Nate has gone and gotten us some dinner. I'm sure he's tired of going down the cafeteria and just wanting to get something different. So I'm gonna finish feeding her and then call the nurse and we'll get her set up on this thing. Alright, we got her going here under the lights. Oh, she's pretty content. Let me show you what I'm working with currently. Okay, about 40 hours postpartum. I feel like that's pretty amazing. My stomach was pretty dang big. And these panties still prove to be the most comfortable things I've ever had. Okay, we're getting to go. Just peed.
I just flushed the toilet.
Okay, Marlo's dressed. Got our cute little bow on. She's awake.
GTFOH.
Nate. Signed our papers. I got my Tdap shot. I am looking.
You get a sore arm to go with your
Sore everything else.
right, and lack of sleep.
We are packed up. We're headed home.